Okay, I think it's time that we had a talk. And actually, this really isn't like a talk. It's actually kind of like I wouldn't call it a rant, but it was kind of like a realization, which is something I already realized, but I'm just sharing this with the world. I've got friends of mine, and I mean good friends of mine, that voted for this nut job that we got in office right now. And these people are actually good people, but extremely, I don't know, unaware of how what's going on right now affects people that are different or that are other. And the reason why I'm making this video is because hopefully for those of us that understand what's going on, it will continue to encourage us. And those of us that don't understand what's going on, it'll open your eyes. And I know I'm only one person, but I feel like something's got to be said or something's got to be done. So here goes. America is a great country, but it's not a great country because of just some random nobody reason. It's a great country because of the people. But I need to be a little bit more specific about what has made this country great, and we still got a lot more work to do. The founding fathers of this country were not very nice people. They had a dream, but that dream did not include people that looked like me, and it didn't include people that were Latino. It didn't include Italians. It didn't include Jewish people. It didn't include Asians. It included, English, European guys that wanted to get away from a system that they weren't crazy about. And that is all this country was founded on. That's the bottom line of what this country was founded on. And not only that, but this country was founded on the backs of slaves, which I know nobody wants to talk about that. It was founded through genocide, killing off Native Americans. So then let's turn around and get back. I'm not going to dwell on that, but it does need to be dwelled on at some point. But what makes America the country that it is, and what makes America great, is the people, because it was women, men of color, men that were white, women that were of color, women that were white, whatever, black, brown, whatever, that said no more. No more injustice, no more racism, even though we're still dealing with it, no more excluding us from the story of America. So it wasn't like America is great because, the founding fathers just looked over at the sea of beautiful, different people and said, let's make a beautiful, diverse culture, which, by the way, I got a pastor that doesn't like the word diverse. That's a whole other story I'll talk about later, which is stupid because God is really into diversity and differences and creating this culture of beautiful people, whether it's and beautiful things. We have different flowers, we have different plants, we have different trees, we have different cultures, different people. So God's kind of into diversity. So anyway, going back to what makes this country great, it was people that stood up and said, no, women should have the right to vote. And women fought for the right to vote. That made our country great. People of color that stood up and said no more. And people also don't understand that there were economic reasons behind abolishing slavery, but that was a whole other story too. But slavery got abolished. Whether it was for political reasons, economic reasons, or humanitarian reasons, it got abolished. That's what makes a country great. Okay? That's what makes this country great. There were immigrants that came to this country that were Italians. And you know what they were called? They were called WAPs. You know what WAP means? Without papers. Okay? So, yeah. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'll do a little research on that. But I was told that. Okay? So, there were people that came over to this country fleeing Germany. Jewish people. Okay? They weren't really welcome. But they built companies. They built a life for themselves. They built a community. That's what makes this country great. There were Asian people that came up to this country and put in concentration camps. Fought for their rights, built communities, built societies. That's what makes a country great. This country great. So, let's get clear on something. When somebody says make a country great again, make this country great again, it's because they want to go back to the time. I don't care what you say. They want to go back to the time when, there wasn't as much representation. There's always been diversity in this country, but there wasn't as much representation, and there wasn't as much, as much protest, and there wasn't as much clear, defined outlines of what we will put up with and what we won't put up with as far as the society is concerned, pertaining to racism, homophobia, all of the LGBTQ community. Fought for their rights, for gay marriage, LGBTQ rights. That makes this country great. So what makes this country great is not this little, red, white, and blue flag and stuff like that, and this, that, and the third. What makes this country great is the people that said no more and stood up against the establishment. It's not the people that sat in high places looking down on the people and saying, this is how things are going to be done. It's the people that stood up and said, this is how things were done and we're changing it. And we still have a group of people in office right now to this day that don't like the fact that we have a changing country. But guess what? This country has always been changing. If it was up to the founding fathers of this country right now, I would be a wench someplace and somebody's little sex slave, or working out in the field because maybe I wasn't cute enough or light enough to be the sex slave. So I don't know. Okay? But actually had nothing to do with cute back then. It was just power. Rape has nothing to do with power. It has nothing to be cute. Rape has nothing to do with cute or whatever. Rape has something to do with power. And those men back then had the power, as well as the cowardice and the ill intentions, to rape, harm, and destroy the spirits, or try to destroy the spirits of a lot of black and brown people back then. But our spirits weren't destroyed. In fact, we got stronger and we stood up and we fought for our rights. And that's what makes this country great. So for the people that want to get on board and acknowledge the fact that, hey, we're not a perfect country, but we've got something to be proud of. And that's our ability to come together as a community and say, no more. We're going to stand up for what's right. And that's what makes us great. Because this country was not founded for the other. And for those of you that are not the other, for those of you that have had the privilege of being able to walk around society without being hampered by racism, homophobia, or sexism, for those of you that don't get it, I'm just giving you a forewarning. Even though it looks like y'all got some guy in office that y'all like that's going to make everything go back, we are never going back. Things are going to get ugly. There's going to be more crazy stuff that happens. But in the end, the good people of this country, the people that understand that a diverse, healthy country is a good country, the people that understand that we're not perfect, but we're trying to make a more perfect union, those are the people, if you look at this country, those are the people that have always won in the end. The racists, they never win in the end. They win a few victories. I mean, you got 2016, so you won. But in the end, no. In the end, goodness wins, humanitarianism wins, and people being kind wins. And if you support a policy in any way, shape, or form that is not kind and that is not inclusive and supports humanity, believe me, in some way, shape, or form, it's going down. So, going back to my first point, what makes America great is our people and the willingness of the people in this country to stand up when things aren't fair and things aren't equitable and things aren't right. And the same people that are so scared of change are the same people that freaked out when they had a multicultural family on the front of a Cheerios box, or on a not a Cheerios box, but when they had a Cheerios commercial with multicultural people. Those are the people that are freaking out right now about all the change going on in our country. It's just not the same, you know. It's just, you know, just not the same. It's not the same. And maybe that's a good thing. Yeah.